As I mentioned earlier, my name is Bamba and I currently work as the Get Ahead officer here at Ahead. Um, I come from a pharmaceutical and medical communications background, and I'm very passionate about the healthcare and disability sectors, and I have my own personal experience within disabilities as well. Um, just to give you an idea then of what we're going to discuss today, I'm just going to walk through building the future and what you should expect to see on the day. I'll give you a little bit more information around the accommodation supports that you can avail of and the agenda. I'll walk through the different elements as well that are taking place on the day and give you some insights as well into some queries we've had in the past. As well, as I mentioned, I'm just going to leave some time at the end for questions as well. Again, to reiterate, we won't be recording Q&A, so please feel free to ask whatever you'd like at the end. So what is Building the Future? This is Get Ahead's annual careers event for students and graduates with disabilities. This year it's taking place on Wednesday, the 29th of May from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. And this will be fully in person this year at the city offices in Dublin City Centre. So the day is organised specifically for students and graduates with disabilities or specific learning difficulties. And it's a really great opportunity for you to come along and talk to employers, a lot of whom offer placements. If you're not familiar with WAM, so these placements are they're 6 months age mentored work placements in a company for specifically for graduates with disabilities. Placements can be in the private or public sector, and they're typically mainstream graduate entry level positions. I might just ask Alice to drop in the link to the WAM program if that's okay, if anyone wants to have a look and learn a little bit more. So in terms of what to expect, on the day you'll have the opportunity to meet directly with high profile employers, which Cassie also kind of highlighted earlier in terms of the Grad Ireland event. So you'll have the chance as well to take part in mock interviews and CV clinics, where you'll get one-to-one professional feedback from employers. You'll also get the chance to get a professional headshot taken for your LinkedIn profile or your CV. And there will also be optional workshops then throughout the day across a variety of topics that are aimed at supporting you in your job search journey. So I just wanted to mention that in terms of accessibility, the building itself is accessible, and if you do require any individual accommodation supports on the day, you will be prompted when registering to submit any accommodations you might need. If you did register and didn't send that across at the time, that's not an issue. Please feel free to reach out to me at getahead@ahead.ie. We will also have ISL interpreters available on the day, as well as sighted guides, and you can also request to get the workshop slides in advance as well. So the exhibition space and different activities might be a bit overwhelming for some, so attendees can benefit from our quiet space to debrief. So it's a quiet room available on the day as a space to kind of gather your thoughts and recharge a bit away from the crowds. We'll have some fidget toys and some seating options in the room. There's no need at all to register in advance for the space. It's open to all who need it, so you'll just need to ask a volunteer or a staff member where the quiet room is located on the day. You're also, of course, more than welcome to bring your personal assistant or a companion. We'll just need their name in advance when you're registering. Or again, you can reach out to me via the email. So I've included a link here to all of the accessibility measures if you want to take a look in your own time. And again, Alice, could I ask you to please pop the link there in the chat as well? Give a second. If you do have any questions that you can't see on the webpage, again, please feel free to reach out to me. So I've just included the agenda here for the day. I won't go through it in too much detail. It is on our event webpage. You will see that we open registration at 9:30. We'll kick off with a workshop, and then we've got the exhibition space, CV clinics, mock interviews, and the Get a Headshot station running in parallel then throughout the day. And we'll finish up with 2 workshops, and the whole event will close at 2 o'clock. So to give you a bit of an idea of what the space looks like, when you come into the building, you'll get to the registration desk initially, which you can see here in the first image. You will sign in here, get your goodie bag and your name badge. The exhibition space then that we can see in the middle, this will be the kind of main event space on the day, and we'll have a number of different employers hosting a stand in this area. can see the stand here on the right. I've also included a link on the slide here to some photographs from last year's event. If you want to take a look through and get a bit more familiar with the day. I know for myself that I like to have an idea of what the venue looks like, and makes me feel a bit more at ease, kind of knowing roughly what the different elements will look like. Just to let you know as well that we have a really detailed FAQ section on the event webpage that might answer some other queries you might have if you want to have a look through. And I might get Alice to pop them in the chat as well, please, when you get a second. Okay, on to the workshops then. So once you're in, you're registered, the day will kick off with a welcome and our first workshop then at 10 a.m. We'll then have two others at 1 o'clock and 1:30. These half-hour workshops will be hosted by employers and they'll explore some very relevant and important topics relating to kind of kicking off your career as a disabled graduate or student. The actual titles will be updated on our webpage in the coming weeks, so do keep an eye out. I've included two images here as well, just to give you an idea of the space. So these will take place in the same room, just off the main exhibition space. And there'll also be the ISL support there for the workshops, as you can see. So these CV clinics, again, very much like what Cassie mentioned, these are a walk-in service. So you'll sign up on the day for the CV clinics and you'll be assigned a slot then with an employer to kind of walk through your CV. Please do bring your printed CV when you don't mind having an employer kind of scribbling on, or else bring your laptop or your tablet with your CV on that. So you'll have about a 10-minute slot to talk to an employer about kind of how to polish your CV. They'll just review it, give you some feedback on the layout, formatting, how you can structure it a little bit better. And they'll be able to maybe give you some advice on wording. And we have a quote as well from a previous Building Future attendee who said that the clinic was really informative. People are very forthcoming and they give a lot of useful tips and advice on their CV and the job hunting process in general. So I'd recommend as well that you do review your CV well in advance of the day and make some tweaks beforehand, just to make sure that they get the most kind of up-to-date information on you. Another element on the day then is the mock interviews. So these, you register for these when you're actually registering for the event in general. So if you have already registered and you haven't signed up and would now like to, again, please feel free to reach out to me and we can see if there's any slots. You will have to share your CV with us in advance, so we can go to the employer to review in advance, and then we'll give you an assigned slot once we have that. So you will have about one or two employers interviewing you on the day, and you'll get about a 25-minute slot, where you'll have about 20 minutes for the actual interview, and then 5 minutes for feedback. Again, another quote. So we had a previous attendee that said the mock interviews were really great. You get a lot of useful tips from people who've worked in the space that they wanted to go into, and it really helps to put their minds at ease. So it is a really great opportunity to kind of use this space for simulating real world scenarios, and it'll give you a bit of a chance to practice and refine your responses before you go out and interview for a role that you're actually interested in. Another part of the day then is our headshot station. So again, this is a walk-in service and it works on a first come, first served basis. We will have some staff there who will take your name if you'd like to get your headshot taken, and then get your slot with the photographer to get some photos. These will be shared with you then after the event and you can use them however you'd like. Again, it's a really good opportunity for you to get a professional photo that you can use on whichever platforms you like or on CV. According to LinkedIn, members who include a profile photo receive 21 times more profile views and up to 36 times more messages. So it's definitely worthwhile. Now that we've covered the day as a whole, I just want to give you some pointers from questions that people previously asked when preparing for the day. So in terms of what time do I need to arrive? So registration, as I mentioned, opens at 9:30. And the first workshop kicks off at 10. So if you do want to attend the workshop, please do arrive for sign-in before 10 to give yourself plenty of time to actually get a spot. Last entry then for the event is at midday. So if you want to arrive a little bit later, please do make sure that you've arrived before 12 so you can get in. In terms of getting there, so it's a very central location, and there is some information again on our webpage on the different modes of transport that you can use to get there. We've included the various bus, Lewis, and train routes, as well as a map of the venue and the nearest stations. So yeah, I'd recommend that you take a look at that in advance and plan out your route just to make sure you're giving yourself plenty of time. So we've covered this again earlier, but when you get there, so when you arrive, you'll go straight to the registration desk where you'll sign in, you'll get your goodie bag and your name badge. Depending again on your arrival time and if you're registered for a mock interview or if you want to attend a workshop, you'll be able to navigate this yourself on the day and you'll have a lot of staff there present to to point you in the right direction. In terms of what to wear, again, Cassie covered this earlier, so smart casual as if you're going to an interview or to the office. So I'd recommend to be comfortable but professional, especially if you're getting a headshot, just to make the most of the opportunity. What should you bring? So, as I mentioned, even if you're going to the stands or if you're going for your CV review, I would highly recommend that you bring several copies of your CV because there's no printing facilities there on the day, or else just bring your laptop or your tablet. We've covered our CV review. So in terms of food or lunch, you'll get a bottle of water, a snack bag or snack bar, and a bag of sweets in your goodie bag when you arrive. So again, one of the most important questions is really, what do I do or say to employers at stands? I highly recommend that you review all the participating employers on our webpage and see which ones you'd like to speak to on the day. Like Cassie mentioned, make sure you do your research, prepare some questions on what you might want to ask on the day. Another really important point to remember is not to assume that companies whose primary sector is in a certain area are only looking for graduates from those areas. So, if a company has a financial name, you might assume that they only want people who studied finance, or if it's a pharma company, maybe someone who is coming from the scientific sector. These companies, for the most part, are huge. They're looking for graduates in all sorts of areas like legal, engineering, IT, and many more. So don't be afraid to go up to companies that you wouldn't normally consider. Right. So when you're thinking about how to actually navigate the conversation with an employer, it can be a bit daunting approaching the employer first. And I know it's easier said than done, but don't be afraid or nervous. All employers are there for that very reason, and because they're genuinely interested in meeting potential candidates or, to offer you some information or guidance around your career. We have all of this again on our FAQ webpage, but I'll just walk you through kind of what I'd recommend. So starting out by just introducing yourself, shake their hand, explain what your background is in, or what area you're interested in working in. And maybe ask them some things about what you've researched or talk to them a little bit about what you know now about their company. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Maybe things like, do you have any opportunities for graduates with a similar background? At what stage of the year do you advertise vacancies? Even like what do you enjoy working for the company, just to kind of get an idea of the culture and if that's somewhere you would like to work. If the company is taking CVs as well, make sure you've got enough copies to hand them out. And ask the person who you're speaking to if you can have their contact details or the contact email of the person that you can follow up with on further opportunities. And make sure you thank them for their time as well at the end. Right, so as I finish up, I just want to highlight again that there will be lots of support staff there on the day. Please don't hesitate to come up if you have any questions or any concerns. Again, that's what we're there for. It's a really great opportunity to network as well and meet other students and graduates as well as the employers. And make sure to have fun. It's a really great day, and if you're well prepared, you'll get a lot out of the different elements on the day. So yeah, that is everything.